Dragon Riders, Kaze no Kaeru, by Night Dragon 0. Drishya's perspective. I circled the base uneasily, not really sure of what I should do. It had been no simple task keeping up, but I'd finally reached the base and seen the van drive in. After my 10th round, I decided to take a rest and flew down to hide in the forest nearby. A helicopter was just taking off from the rooftop. I stared up at it, again with doubts and indecision filling my mind. I was so absorbed in my thoughts that I failed to notice the other Pokemon nearby until it accidentally snapped a twig. I spun around and barely dodged in time as a Jolteon flew past. However, he landed on the balls of his feet, rolled forward, and turned to face me again. I roared and had my air supply abruptly cut off as a pair of vines was wrapped around my neck. The Ivysaur pulled back, pulling my head up and distorting my aim. The Jolteon pounced, and I realized in horror that the maneuver had also exposed my throat to be ripped wide open. I closed my eyes, expecting my thoughts to end any time. When nothing happened, I risked a peek and found instead that the Jolteon was perched on my shoulder, sniffing. "Could it really be?" he muttered. "Drishya, is that you? Who?" I stopped short. "Jolteon? Ivysaur? Drishya! It really is you!" Ivysaur cried happily, releasing his vines. "Awesome! You evolved to a Dragonite!" "Ivysaur, it's great to see you again, too. I'm called Ashura now, and Jolt's called Luminar. But what are you guys doing here?" I asked. "After you disappeared with Chris, my group's been through some absolutely crazy stuff." "It's Night Slice. He came to rescue Hazuki," Luminar explained. "Night Slice is here? And who's Hazuki?" "Long story," Ashura muttered. "You have to read the entire fic to find out." "For the wall break." "I'm here because Storm's group was captured by these people," I spoke, "and I came to rescue them." "Well, you shouldn't be standing around here having your little reunion then," a deep voice spoke, startling all of us. "Alucard!" I told the others as the armored Scizor stepped into view. Luminar and Ivysaur growled menacingly. Whether they were intimidated by Alucard's new form was not shown on the surface. "What do you want now?" I growled. "Relax, my dear. I'm not here to fight you this time, at least," the Scizor laughed, folding his arms. "In fact, it might be mutually beneficial for us to go in together on this one. You expect us to believe that? Look, my agents report that the base is going to Kingdom Come in less than 10 minutes now. You have things you need from there, and so do I. Besides, I would have just let your friends blow up if I wanted all of you dead." I glanced from Luminar to Ashura, who gave me their confirmational nods. They wanted me to take the call. "All right, Alucard, we'll play it your way," I sighed reluctantly. "There, not too hard, was it? Now, first thing is to get into the base itself." I checked around it. All the doors seemed to be shut tight, I said. "Actually, you should remember that stealth is no longer necessary." A wide grin crept over Alucard's face. Firestorm's perspective. I attacked first, not wanting to give my opponent a chance. He gracefully stepped out of the way of 2 punches and did a backflip up on the stack of crates. Not bad, I thought, leaping up after him. The young man climbed up a little and shoved a crate down at me. With a yell, I swung my fist and smashed it to pieces. I saw him gasp as I charged towards him. My kick connected, sending him flying back into the wall. The soldier quickly pulled himself to his feet, ducked my following punch, and knocked my feet out from under me. Immediately, he disappeared into the darkness on the second-level walkway. I stood on guard, waiting for him to make his move, at the same time wondering how he was able to see wearing sunglasses in the dark. A flicker of movement caught my attention, causing me to turn around. A little too late, I realized he'd taken off and thrown his brown vest as a distraction. The kick from behind sent me stumbling into a set of machinery. My shirt got caught on a gear as I pulled away, tearing it from the right sleeve all the way across to the bottom left corner. He hadn't been expecting my quick retaliation as I threw a sidekick followed by a combo of punches. My opponent took several hits before he managed to get his guard back up. He caught my hand and threw me sideways. I hit the ground hard, and he followed up with a slamming move. I rolled away and gave him an uppercut to his chin, halting his attack midway. Infuriated, he stumbled backwards, wiping his bleeding lip with the back of his hand. I realized blood was flowing from a cut over my forehead, and the fight continued. Sorge's perspective. Sneaking through a base was one thing. However, running through one about to blow up was another story. Under the cover of night and forest, our party had arrived just in time to see a helicopter flying off. We had split off from Alucard with the intention to sneak in separately. Syndrea had come along, but we decided against forcing her to undertake the task against her will. Scantrix and I had been climbing in through a window when the self-destruct message started playing, and we'd started flying as quickly as we could. "Darn, this is gonna get record timing if we make it out alive," Scantrix muttered. "Yeah, it's a good thing we decided to make this a 3-mon mission," I nodded. A pair of hyper beams easily blew open the control room's door. "Remember, just stick the device in," Scantrix instructed. "I know," I said, lifting my left claw. Prior to this, a square device had been strapped to its flat end. Another one of Alagard's gadgets, this one supposedly contained a self-executing program to download information on the virus we'd heard about. Although the Scizor had intended to come in and break through the security codes himself, it was fortunate that someone had left the computer running. Scantrix opened a section on its side, and I pushed the device in. The screen flashed with the words "searching," then gave us a confirming message. "We're rolling," I said, as the download counter started going upwards. "Just don't take your claw away from there," Scantrix instructed, flying over to a set of monitors on the other side of the room. I could swear I'd heard him gasp. "I've got something to do, all right?" he squawked hastily. "Just wait here. I'll be back." The Skarmory was out the door before I even had time to contemplate his sentence. "Scantrix, what was that about?" I wondered. Out of curiosity, I called one of the files about the virus. I choked at what I saw. Phase 1 of VX project complete. The new virus has successfully been engineered to recognize and infect various Pokemon DNA strains. Once infected, the virus replicates itself using the host cell's DNA and spreads to other cells. It is a slow inflicting virus, causing much pain as body systems fail, eventually proving fatal to the host. Now all it needs is a sample of DNA from a chimera to be incorporated into it, and the VX virus will be ready to enter its final stages. "What the hell? Those bastards! They don't even deserve to be called human!" I was so enraged that I pulled my claw and the device away from the main computer, cutting off the download. "Oh shit!" I shoved the device in and reactivated the download. Now it would take longer. Still swearing, I turned my head and noticed the flickering items on some of the screens. They were showing images of various rooms around the base. One, however, caught my attention. "Night Slice?" Hazuki's perspective. "Hazuki! Hazuki! Wake up!" I groaned, finding myself staring at a gray ceiling. Slowly, the previous events came back to me. Sneaking into the station, the fight, me getting kidnapped, looking up at the brightly lit room, people sticking needles into my arm. I bolted up, shaking my head. "Hazuki! Kyle!" I gasped. I was in a large gray room with strong-looking reinforced walls. Kyle was trapped in a transparent, water-filled crystal ball in the center of the room. "What's been going on? Where did they take us?" "I have no idea." The Lapras shook his head. "I only remember them sticking some needles into you. Man, the size of those things even scared me." "How'd you get in there?" I asked. "Oh, the fairy godmother waved her magic wand. Those bastards stuck me in here, of course!" I stepped back and gave his prison a kick, succeeding only in hurting my foot. "Don't you think I've tried that? Someone obviously doesn't want us getting out." I put my hand on my chin and thought for a moment. "Why don't you try freezing the water around you?" I suggested. "What? And turn myself into a Lapras popsicle?" he protested. "When water freezes into ice, it takes up more space. It should shatter the glass ball pretty quickly," I explained. "There's no way I'm going to—" A computerized voice beeped as alarms began sounding. "The self-destruct system has now been activated. The self-destruct system has now been activated. Base will detonate in 8 minutes. All personnel, please proceed to your designated evacuation points. The self-destruct system has been activated." Kyle and I stared at each other in shock. "I'm doing it!" the Lapras declared. Drishya's perspective. "I'll lead you to where your friends are being held. After that, you're on your own," Alagard said as we ran through the corridors. The monotonous self-destruct message was really starting to piss me off. "Yeah, sure," I nodded. "Make sure of it," Luminar growled. Alagard had simply led us to the roof and down through the emergency stairway. Whoever had taken the helicopter out there earlier had left it unlocked in their hasty departure. "Here." Alagard threw open a door and led us into a security room filled with screens and monitors. He pushed several buttons and pointed to an image on one of the screens. It showed Serac and Nala in a gray room, pounding on the door. They'd obviously heard the warning message too, now at 7 minutes. "We have to save those girls," I declared. "Room 0511, Ashura read the words on the bottom of the screen. "That's a couple floors down," Luminar said. "We'll have to hurry." "Alagard, where—" I stopped short. "Damn it!" We'd taken our eyes off the cunning Scizor for a few seconds, and he disappeared. We don't have time to worry about him, Ashura decided. Let's go. We can wait for the elevator. You're not supposed to use those in emergencies, Luminar protested. Yeah, but nobody said anything about using the elevator shaft. The pair dashed out of the room. I was about to follow when a radio in the room hissed. Drishya! A female voice called from the other end. Drishya, Storm and Night Slice are fighting each other. What? Who is this? My name is not important. Down on the factory level. Hurry! Wait! Too late, the connection was severed. I happened to look up at the screen and saw the scene. 2 humans fighting in what looked like a metalworks factory. One was Firestorm, but the other... This is not my day! I roared, taking flight. Sarek's perspective. I pounded the door again with little effort. Damn it! I don't want to die! Nala was screaming. We're not going to, alright? I gasped, gathering my energy for a thunderbolt. Not if I can do anything about it. Nala knelt down and put her hand to her head. Your voice, I hear it! I didn't have time for queries as I threw off a lightning attack. All of a sudden, the door slid open, and my thunderbolt went out, creating a large blackened spot on the corridor, accompanied by a loud bang. What? Nala and I stared, mouth opened at each other in shock. Well, don't just stand there, a voice from outside yelled. After I went through the trouble of hotwiring this stupid control panel, you better get out of here alive. We dashed out to see a Skarmory hovering in the corridor. What? Who? I began. No time. Nala, just get out of here. But take this. The steel bird tossed a shiny object onto the ground and darted round the left corridor. I'm confused, I admitted. Nala bent down to pick up the object, a pendant in the shape of a fox's head. Sarah, there's something I have to do, she said. Nala, this place is going up in like 6 minutes. Someone is calling out to me. Someone in this building. I need to find out whom. I promise I'll get out in time, the dark-haired girl insisted. Please, just go on first. All right. I gave in, seeing nothing was going to change her mind anytime soon. Hurry, and be careful. Nodding, Nala sprinted for the nearby stairway, climbing up 2 steps at a time. Another deafening explosion shook the area. This one, too, was nearby, but to the right instead. I sprinted around the bend to see a Jolteon and Ivysaur furiously pounding on the door with their Thunderbolt and Solar Beam attacks. Hurry! I know Hazuki's in there! I can smell her! The Jolteon barked. We've got to get her out! Someone's in there? I asked, running towards them. Who? Hey, she's one of those Drishya told us to rescue, the Ivysaur realized. Drishya? She's here too? Whoa, she understands us, Jolteon gasped. Hey, we can do intros later, Ivysaur told him. Then he turned towards me. We're on the same side, lady. I figured, I nodded. If someone's locked up in there, I'll help. Both Pokemon stared mouth open as electric energy gathered around my hands. Together, guys. Both did somewhat variations of a salute with their vines and paws, respectively.